we will try to understand three objects or three substances. Firstly, let me talk about a stone. So, I have a stone in my hand. So, the first thing I would feel when I have a stone in my hand is its weight, correct? And secondly, I would like to ask you something. Have you ever heard of the story of a crow drinking water from a pot by putting stone by stone into it, and then water comes up, and the crow easily drinks the water and leave from there? Have you ever heard of that particular story? There is a reason why I'm asking you about this particular story. Have you observed something? What happens there exactly? See, that pot is actually filled with water, maybe to half, and the crow is not able to reach to the bottom to drink that water. Then it picks up a stone, add one by one into it. What happens? What is the observation there? If you look at the observation, the water comes up. Why does the water comes up? The reason is previously the space was occupied, the volume of the pot was occupied with water. Now, as you are adding the stone, this water is getting displaced by the same amount of the addition of each one by stone. So that means I can say that the stone that I have in hand has some mass and it also occupies some space. Yes, let's talk about water. So now we are talking about the water that is present in the pot, correct? Have you ever felt, when you put water onto your hand, what happens to water? It just slips away, correct? So that means you are not able to hold water. So that means it is actually flowing from your hand. But tell me something, do you feel the weight of the water in your palms as you take it? Yes, you feel the weight of water, correct? Yes, even I feel the weight of water. And how about the volume? We have learned from that crow drinking water from the pot that the water also have some volume or it also occupies some space. Yes. And the third one I want to discuss with you is about the air around us. Okay. Let's talk a simple observation that you normally see at your homes. Suppose you are hosting some birthday party, and now for the birthday party, you want to decorate the wall with something else. Now, to decorate the wall, what do? You get a lot of balloons and a lot of decorating stuff, and now what you do? You start, filling the balloon with the air. So as you start filling the balloon with the air, the balloon will start to enlarge. First thing, correct? And if you start to even put more amount of air into it, it will even enlarge more. So that tells me that the balloon is filled with something that I call it as air, and this air is occupying some space inside the balloon. So that means this air is having some volume inside the balloon. So more the air present in the balloon, more is its volume, correct? Then let me ask you one more thing. If I tell you that balloon that is filled with air has more mass than the balloon which is actually not filled with air, will you agree with me? Okay, let's try a simple experiment to understand this particular concept. So I take maybe a stick, okay, and then to one end I tie the balloon that is actually filled with air, and to the other end I tie the balloon which is not filled with air, and then I try a knot at the center of the stick and try to balance it. What do you notice? So you will notice that the balloon that is filled with air will actually start to move down, and the balloon which is not filled with air, it will start to move up. Why is that particular observation? The reason is the balloon is occupying some mass. Sorry, not occupying mass. The balloon has some mass, that is what is present inside the balloon. It is air. Air has some mass. Hence, the mass of the air plus mass of the balloon. Whereas here, it is only the mass of the balloon. So that tells us that the three things that I discussed now had mass in common and also occupied space. Correct? So this particular objects or substances having these two properties, they were termed as matter. And matter is nothing but anything which is occupying some space and having some mass is termed as matter. You understand this? Now let's try to pick any objects that's around you and let's try to figure out what exactly is that particular substance that is present around you. Okay, I see a camera in front of me. So let me try to understand, is my camera a matter or not? So how do I figure it out? First thing, I have two conditions for matter. First thing is it should have some mass. Yes, I feel the mass when I have my camera in my hand. And the second thing would be it should occupy some volume. Of course, it occupies some volume in the space. So I can tell that my camera is actually a matter. Understand? Then how about the electricity, that is used to lit up the lights that I have here? So may I say the electricity as matter? First thing, let's talk about, does electricity have mass and volume? What is electricity? It is the flow of charge. Here it is the flow of electrons present, right? So now here electricity cannot be termed as the matter. The reason is it does not have mass and it does not occupy some space. But I can say the flow of electricity is actually the property of matter. You understand this? In this chapter, we will try to understand the properties of matter. That means why the matter behaves in that manner. For example, you have seen three things that we discussed about. That was air, water, and the stone. All were referred to as matter, but they had different characteristics. They had different properties to one another. So we will try to understand the reasons behind their behaviors. Understand? Thank you.